More Jews have left France, Europe as a whole, but France in particular, than any time in recent history. 7,000 left last year because of the rise of violent anti-Semitism, and most of them headed for Israel. Don't tell me there's not a war going on. Don't tell me we don't know the source and the culprit. We do. Let me tell you something. It's not an exact parallel, but it's good enough. Communism is still a scourge in this world. The nation with the largest population on the face of the earth, whose economy is overtaking ours, whose military is increasing by double-digit increases in spending every single year while we're hollowing out our military. Red China is on the rise. It's a communist regime. And, of course, there are others, including in our hemisphere in Central and South America and in the Caribbean. Very few people were willing to stand up to it in a significant way. Most of them wanted to make peace with it, quote unquote. Détente, as an example, a flat-out appeasement as another example, as the communism, which has killed, slaughtered, maimed, made horrific life for more people than any other ism on the face of the earth. And people wanted to make peace with it. The greatest threat today, because Ronald Reagan helped defeat most of communism, but it's still a significant threat. But the greatest threat today actually isn't communism, as bad as that is. It's Islamo-Nazism. What took place in Paris was horrific, and I spoke at length about it the last few days. But it's taking place every single day in numbers that are unbelievable in the third world in particular. We have a president whose father was Muslim. We have a president who's constantly apologizing for a faith that hasn't gone through its reformation process. You even have Muslims criticizing what's going on in the religion, including the president of Egypt. And I see now that I mentioned it yesterday, the AP found out, wow, President Sisi of Egypt made a tremendous speech last week. Wow, that's great. The greatest wire service on the face of the earth. Greatest not because it's good, greatest because of its size. He speaks out against it. There's some others, but not Obama, not our State Department. And yet Muslims are being slaughtered, butchered, raped, and they don't come to their defense. Obama goes to a Ford factory, praising himself for bailing out the auto companies. The problem is he didn't bail out Ford with our tax dollars. It was the one company that wouldn't take a penny. Now he's out today patting himself on the back for an economy that he didn't even create, that he continues to handicap. Almost nothing about the greatest threat we face today, internationally, the Islamo-Nazi crusade, the growing caliphate, and the butchery, and the barbarism, and the torture that accompanies it. We have the weakest political leaders, not just in my lifetime, in many lifetimes. It's the worst I've seen. Democrat and Republican alike. It's just awful.